This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Talk about stepping up. Bang! Bang!
It's time to level up your game. Introducing the all-new ESPN app. All of ESPN, all in one place. Your home for the most live sports and the best championship moments.
The electricity is palpable.
Step up your game with no annual contract required. It's the ultimate fan experience. Level up for more on the ESPN app or at stream.espn.com. Sign up now.
Man.
To 9 to noon. I'm Alec Lewis in at the State Fair for Paul Allen, who's in Nashville. And we have a guest. His name is Jon Krawczynski. We'll take a round of applause for Jon Krawczynski.
Thank you.
Mr. Minnesota. Are you a fair guy?
I'm a huge fair guy. I'm one of us. Like, I grew up on the fair. So, like, I was practically birthed at the birthing center
right,
over there. So, this is in my blood. So, we come every year. I come see Barrero. I'll be there here next Friday for Barrero. Come see you, and then we'll take the family one day and mill around a little bit.
Okay.
So,
I was wondering if the kids were out here.
Not yet. No, they don't want to sit through Dad talking.
Okay.
Just like your gal does not want to sit through you talking over here, and she's split. Like, and the kids are like, no, I want no part of that right now.
What is your earliest fair memory?
I don't know. I mean, it's like real young, like waddling around in the, like, not even tall enough, and this is a short joke, but like not even tall enough to go on the adult rides in the midway, like having go on the kiddie rides and playing the games. And the big yellow slide is like the formative experience of every Minnesota kid. You got to come there and sit on the thing and go down it. So that's probably remembering and thinking that thing is like 30 stories tall, and like, how am I going to get all the way up there and all the way down? Like, just great times.
Has it gotten bigger? Like, I mean, you're talking to somebody from Birmingham, Alabama, and I don't know. I never did the Alabama State Fair, but it's unbelievable. It blows my mind every year.
Every year seems like they set a new attendance record. Like we were talking before, coming in today, the traffic was impossible. I parked a mile and a half away and just walked in, which is fine for me, like get a little exercise, but like it's insane. And I just don't know how many more people can come. I mean, we have 4.5 million people in the Twin Cities and in Minnesota. Like, it seems like everyone is here, especially with weather like this. Like, it's easy.
I respected the hustle of, I haven't done this a ton of times, but you've got like the kids trying to wave people in for parking spots.
Yeah.
Like that is, it's exceptional.
Well, and then what I found out, my wife told me before coming out here, because my kind of cheat code for when I come alone.
I knew you'd have some.
I have like some parking on street over, kind of about a mile away or a half a mile away, but free parking. And the wife's like, no, Falcon Heights is charging now. They put up meters and stuff. I'm like, $25. And so that's what I usually would do. And then I'd walk in, but then I went in a back way and found some free parking, but it's a hike, man. You just got to do what you got to do.
It's nuts. We're going to talk some Vikings. We'll get into I have a couple Wolves things for you, and we've got some people in the crowd who are going to add. We're going to get to that.
Great.
So I'm looking forward to that with Jon Krawczynski. I wondered, Eric Nordquist kind of, he booked you. I had a producer booking guests, and I'm wondering, like, does John really? You got time? Like, what else? What else do you have going on?
This is August is the best time of my life.
Besides editing my stories to make them better, what else do you have going on?
Yeah, so I don't mess, as you know, like lately, last few years, I don't mess with Vikings preseason all that much. This is the 1 month where the NBA kind of just goes to sleep for a little bit. And so, like literally I'm hanging around at the house, spending time with the kids, shooting buckets in the backyard. And just relaxing and recharging. So, so I had a little time, and I usually set aside time during Fair Week to make sure that we can get out here as much as we can and fly the flag and and promote the brand and
that's what
all those things.
Where do you get that hat? Is that a Russo thing?
Yeah. So the guy from Branded Bills dropped it off at KFAN for me and Russo and a few others. So just like great generosity of people, and Russo's always got fans giving him all sorts of stuff.
Russo does 7 live podcasts a week. So,
that's true. Yep.
That is. Did you go to Summer League?
I did. Yep. I went for like 4 days.
Okay.
And just I saw the French kid. Like he looked good. But yeah, spent a few days out there, but just enough. Like I at this age, it's just like Vegas in July is. I used to think, oh yeah, let's go and spend 8 or 9 days out there, and no, now I'm in and out of there as quick as we can.
What did Rob Dillingham play?
He played. Yeah.
One of my questions is just, I mean, I'm fascinated by this guy. Watched him a lot at Kentucky. Where is he? How excited are people for him? Where are you at with Rob Dillingham?
Yeah, I think he's probably like the most important player on the Wolves coming into this season, just because whatever he gives, high or low, is going to have a determining factor on how good they can be. And so I do know that there is a lot of optimism internally about what he brings to the table and like getting him a real shot this season. But he is, I do think, one of those guys that you have to have him in the right spot and you have to have the right people around him to maximize. He's not somebody that's just going to come in and like take the thing over and make things happen on his own. And so, they are preparing for him to play significant minutes. I mean, a lot of the roster decisions that they have made this summer, including in the draft, they could have drafted a point guard where they were, and they drafted a big guy instead, and they could have gotten a Malcolm Brogdon, a veteran point guard, to come in behind Mike Conley, but they specifically didn't, in part because they want Dillingham to play. And so he's going to make mistakes. He has limitations size-wise, but he's also electric with the ball in his hands. And I think that he will be able to get the offense moving, get it up and down in transition. And there will be games where he has 17 points in 12 minutes. And then there will be games where he has 6 turnovers in 8 minutes. And so there's going to be a learning curve, but if they can get by the end of the season to where he is a microwave scorer off the bench, just kind of electricity guy, I think they're going to be in really good shape.
And they're okay just living with those up and down.
So say. Okay. It's easy. Yeah, it's easy for Finchie to be laid back, on a patio in the North Loop and having a beer and like, I'm going to play Rob. Yeah, of course. But then once
when push comes,
the rubber meets the road, we will see. But I do think he is committed to, at least in the early stages of giving him opportunities and trying to let him learn through mistakes. And the push and the pull will be is like, oh man, we've dropped 3 in a row and Rob isn't quite there. And do they kind of stick with it as much as they need to? Because he's 20 years old and he looks like he's 14. And so he just needs time and he needs experience, but he's really confident. And I think that they're going to be able to find enough ways to put him in positions where he is comfortable and can be effective for them.
That's kind of a teaser of what we're going to do Wolves-wise. We'll get back to that towards the end of the hour. Back to the fair real quick. Yeah. Is there when you come, is there this is the food I've got to do?
So I walked in, and my first stop every year is the Pickle Dog stop, which is over by the Midway. It's like a pickle with cream cheese wrapped in pastrami, and it's like...
That's your go-to.
Heaven, yes. It's super refreshing. I walked for a mile. I'm a little thirsty. You have a pickle, and it just levels you out, and it gets you ready for cheese curds and for all
the
of
pickle
the
dog
stuff.
Does level you out.
It does. It's the classic. And it sets the tone for you. It's not too heavy. It's not weighing you down right now. You're ready to go, and all right, I can conquer the world after having a pickle dog.
Yeah, I mean that's usually what people. Right. I was thinking about. I was like, John, you can't be a Ferris wheel guy, right? Or roller. I kind of wondered if.
So my daughter is. And my son are daredevils that way, and I was not growing up. I wasn't a big, thrill ride guy, but now they've bullied me into it, and I have to go with them, otherwise they can't go on it, and then they're mad at me, and so they make me do these things, and I just hold on for dear life, and hopefully it's over in 45 seconds, and we get going. But they're always, come on, Dad, let's do this. You can do this. And it's
does your
right.
wife?
No, my wife doesn't at all. She's out. She's just like, I'll go get the food. You guys do this. I'm like, oh, great. Thanks, honey. Yeah, I'll do it.
Love it. All right, we're going to get into some Viking stuff because I don't know. Your lens is always, you texted me last night, somebody said, this guy does not miss. That's just how it goes. We'll get into that after the break with Jon Krawczynski. I'm Alec Lewis, in for Paul Allen. From the fair, you're listening to KFAN. All right, welcome back to the State Fair with Jon Krawczynski, Timberwolves writer, senior writer, Vikings writer. It's really everything. Yeah. Is here with us. We're going to talk some Vikings.
Yeah, let's do it.
You you consume everything,
of course.
So I'd be curious, just from your lens, what have you thought of just the reporting around J.J. McCarthy throughout the course of this training camp? Like, how are you as someone who's as locked in as you are? How do you feel about what you've seen, heard about, what's possible this year with him?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a little discussion from national people about how maybe some of the reporting has been too kid gloves with him or too flowery, and I haven't seen that, honestly. I've read you and read Ben and all those guys a lot about it, and I do think that there's an appropriate amount of just caution in terms of hey, we got to see how this goes, but also an acknowledgement. I watched some of the film of it, and I keep an eye on things, and I've always just thought he has more than enough arm. I don't, the questions about arm strength and about that, I just don't see that.
Silly.
So I like that part of him. I do like that. Little things I like that I saw him sitting next to Justin Jefferson at Wolves games. I like that he seems to be the kind of guy who is a natural leader, who guys like to rally around and follow. And so there are going to be things that he has to learn and mistakes that he will make. But I've been a huge McCarthy guy since he was drafted, and I think he's going to be very good this year. And I'm excited to see him kind of cut it loose a little bit.
What are your realistic expectations? I don't know if you and I have talked about it.
Yeah.
I did the poll on The Athletic, and a lot of people I think are expecting, they'll be happy and satisfied with 3,000 yards passing and 17 touchdowns, 13 picks. That was kind of where a lot of people landed. Mm-hmm. But for you, just knowing the infrastructure, knowing the talent around him, knowing how much they want to revamp the run game a little bit, what will you feel like is most realistic?
I think the ceiling's higher than that for him.
Okay.
Will he get there? I'm not sure, but given all of the things that everyone talks about, given O'Connell, given Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason, given Jefferson, and almost said Thielen. We'll see about that. But
that was a Freudian slip.
Yeah, given the weapons around him, and I think also given that the defense is so good that he will be in advantageous positions a lot in these games, and so I don't see a lot of scenarios where he's chasing the game and the offense they need 350 and 4 touchdowns from him. But I do think that they will set him up to succeed. And maybe the first couple of weeks while he gets his legs underneath him and all of that, he'll ease into it. But I think by midseason, he can be not just a game manager. I think he can be the kind of player who helps you win games and makes plays with his legs and understands it and cuts it loose. And I think he is going to throw interceptions. I actually like that.
Don't just be...
Yeah, I don't want to see 18 touchdowns and 5 interceptions because you're super careful and you're worried about it. I think he's got a little gunslinger in him. He wants to cut it loose. And he has the defense that he can take a few chances and hopefully not get burned by it. So I'm high on him, and I'm high on the team in general. I think that they should be right in the mix again for a top 2-3 seed and right in it.
You probably heard me say this, and I've written it too, but I do feel like for the first 3 weeks, first 5 weeks of the season, especially without Jordan Addison, it's like the run game and the defensive front have to be kind of the scaffolding that allows not because JJ can't handle it, but just to allow him to develop on the appropriate time. Yeah. What do you make of me thinking?
Yeah. I think that all fits. I think it all sets up for him to be able to ease into things. I will be interested to see what happens at receiver, because they will need more than Justin Jefferson to kind of really make it a dynamic offense and a dynamic passing offense, because I see scenarios where, especially Monday night in Chicago, like they're going to sell out on the run and they're going to say, all right, JJ, go beat us.
Absolutely.
And so how he handles that is going to be key, but they have so much around him to make it so that he can ease into it, that he does not have to come out of the gates just ripping. And if he does and it works, great. But I think the scenarios that are more kind of likely is that he actually plays really well early. I think that's more likely than he looks completely overwhelmed and they're asking him to do too much and he falls apart. That's just the way that I see it.
I haven't asked you about this, but I mean, you've covered this, sports in general for so long. You've covered the Vikings for a long time. And I battled during training camp how much to make of any individual practice, even training camp in its entirety. Like, what do I actually make of what I'm seeing here? When you covered it, how did you balance that? And I mean, what do you feel like in terms of the impact / relevance of training camp on any meaningful, whether that's any meaningful projection about what's going to happen?
Yeah, I didn't use it as, they look really good or they look really bad, and so that's going to be a harbinger of what's happening in the season. Like, I didn't pay much attention to results in preseason. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to completion percentages in practice and things like that. But the one thing that I found that I could glean is I can tell when one athlete is special, that just looks different. I mean, I think, Adrian Peterson, his first training camp, and he steps out and he just takes the little soft handoff and goes through the line. No one's tackling anybody. And you're like, that guy's bigger and faster than anyone I've ever seen. And like Percy Harvin was another one where it's just like, okay, this is a completely different level of athlete than anyone else on the field. I can tell that right away. Justin Jefferson, those guys. And so then you might look at, Ingram Dawkins, or, you could see guys that flash a little bit and you're like, okay, that's something I'm paying attention to. Or you can see Donovan McNabb does not look great here. And this is going to be, he looks like an athlete that is past his prime. And so I kind of just look for that kind of visceral sort of feel, and like, okay, I think this guy's good, this guy is hanging on, but I don't really try to glean too much out of, oh man, McCarthy went 2 for 10 and 7-on-7, or oh wow, Brosmer was 8 for 8, that's the kind of stuff that I think you can get in trouble with.
As you're talking, the two guys who come to my mind that fit that mold this training camp, Jordan Addison on offense, and Jonathan Grenard has looked like he is on an entirely, like a mission. And I mean, he's the guy who said more is required, which is on the back of every Vikings shirt you see at training camp. But the Addison thing, and it's really been from the first day, but specifically this training camp, he's just so smooth, so fluid. And the frustrating part is just not having him, after building this rapport, after him, being as engaged as he's been, to not even get to be around for a couple weeks. It really is unfortunate that he and JJ can't continue to just ramp from here.
Yeah, I do think that is like the X factor for the start of the season. If you're looking at reasons that the Vikings stumble out of the gates, is that McCarthy isn't quite ready or is trying to feel it out, and that they're missing that other dynamic playmaker opposite of Jefferson, and so it's easier for secondaries to just throw everything they got at 18, and then and not have to be worried about it. I think Hawkinson can still hurt him.
He's looked good of late.
Yeah.
I will say that. Hawkinson on Wednesday of joint practices was maybe the best offensive player out there that day.
So that's good. And then throw into Aaron Jones in the screen game and Mason, like that'll help. But if you want this team to really like put the foot on the gas, like I don't think it's going to happen until Addison comes back and like really is like gives them a lot, unless Terry McLaurin's coming, and then we'll see. So
the anticipation for this season ranks where for you?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think they're loaded everywhere except for whatever happens at quarterback. And so and as a McCarthy guy, I'm more optimistic than maybe a lot of people are, at least nationally. I think Vikings fans are tuned up for it, but I think the defense is unbelievable. I think that I love Jordan Mason. I love the versatility that Kevin O'Connell has, and I think they can win games in many different ways.
That was the hope.
Yep. And so, I think it's easily a double-digit win team, and I think it's a team that if everything settles in by the end of the season, that they can win games in the playoffs. I just really believe that.
It's good to hear your perspective on it. That's Jon Krawczynski, covers everything as a senior writer for us at The Athletic here in Minnesota. I'm Alec Lewis, in for Paul Allen. Brett Blakemore is producing. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little Adam Thielen, the receiver conversation, Harrison Phillips, that trade, and then I'll toss some Brosmer stuff at you. I know you're juiced up about it for tonight. But keep listening. From the Fair, I'm Alec Lewis. This is KFAN. All right, we're back at the State Fair on KFAN with Jon Krawczynski, senior writer. Is that a senior writer?
Yeah.
Old that your title these days?
Old washed up writer.
We're going to do some more Vikings, but first, there's someone in the audience. He's got a question for you. It might be Wolves related, but this is why. This is why
what they want.
Yeah, absolutely. Greg, Greg's got a question.
Yeah, I'm one of John's fans.
Listen, I am
a legion of them out here, as you can see.
Regarding the Wolves, Terrence Shannon.
Yeah.
Is he ready to succeed in that new expanded role? And the French guy, how does he project to you long term?
Yeah, so Terrence Shannon is almost older than I am. So, yeah, he's ready. But, yeah, they're very high on him. He looked great in Summer League. And one of the reasons that they were comfortable letting N'Keal Alexander-Walker go over Randall or Nas was that he was waiting in the wings. And I do think there were times last year where they wanted to get him out there more and it just didn't work out. But I think that he is ready from an age perspective, from a physicality perspective. And so I think he's going to plug right in, and maybe it certainly will be a different profile than N'Keal, but in terms of production, I think that they feel really good about what he is going to bring to the table. And we have a little bit of question about Dillingham and like physicality and what he is physically ready. And so there's high hopes for him. Beranger, he's 18 years old, but like out in Vegas talking to Wolves coaches and executives about him and just what he's already showing, there's a light in their eyes with him that is uncommon, I will say. Like the belief that he can be a difference maker eventually in like a year, 2 years, I think is really high. And what I hear most of is he's not just a center. Like he can play power forward. He moves very fluidly. He's a great kid, good work ethic, good understanding. And so you usually when a player's picked at that area, you're like, rotation player might help us, but they really think that 2-3 years, he's really going to be something for them.
Thanks for the question, Greg.
Yeah,
that was awesome. We got another question here from I knew you show up.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got a question. I hear Adam Thielen's coming back.
Adam Thielen. Well,
that's a great segue.
Great segue.
That's exactly what we wanted, John. What would your reaction be if Adam Thielen was indeed acquired from the Carolina Panthers?
Yeah, it'd be great. I think, and it's not just because he's one of us, but like it makes so much sense because he knows the offense. There's going to be very little onboarding time. I still would be frankly surprised if the Panthers let him go for something nominal, because I think he's really important there for Bryce Young. Yeah, I think that they like him there. They have young receivers that are promising, but now, like, you're seeing it really kind of go into the, like, we've reported and looked into it, but like Schefter's mentioning it, and Pelissero, like when that kind of momentum starts, that's not an accident. So I think that's a real chance. And if it did happen, I think it would be really exciting.
Going to get one more question here.
So who do you think should be quarterback for the Vikings?
Oh, definitely McCarthy. Yep.
McCarthy.
It's McCarthy.
Absolutely.
Oh, he's down on him.
Whoa, we're down on
no. You want Max Brosmer?
I like the third string.
Brosmer? You like Brosmer?
There he is, starting quarterback.
Well,
Max Brosmer.
Maybe eventually. Eventually, but not yet.
What'd you say?
I miss Dobbs.
Okay.
Well, hey, you're talking about the chroniclers of Dobbs. We wrote.
We had a great time with Josh Dobbs. I don't know. I never told you the backstory of that. So,
thanks for the question.
Thank you. Appreciate it. That year, 2023, that day in Atlanta, the night before, I had been at the University of Georgia.
Yeah.
And the Missouri Tigers played Georgia. I had a very good night in Athens. And then the Josh Dobbs thing happened that day. I didn't expect much. Jaron Hall was starting. Dobbs becomes the story of the NFL, and I had to call on you. And you were ready. You were right. You were ready to rock.
I could see the blood alcohol level in your tweets. I'm like, I better step in here and help this guy out a little bit.
You were ready to roll.
That was super fun. It's a good time to jump in and
thank you for the question.
Do that up. That was really fun.
What did you make of the Harrison Phillips trade? It started. That was Thursday night.
Well,
we were texting a little bit about it.
That I mean, surprising, right? I mean, with what he meant to this team from a leadership perspective and from a production standpoint, and what they got back, I think it's on par with someone of his skill level and position, but it just felt like, okay, you're doing this for another reason. It felt like step one, and now you parlay whatever you got there to help you get a receiver, whether it's Thielen or whoever else it is. It feels like you don't like let someone who's that valued go for relatively modest return unless you have other plans going forward. So it seems like Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah is going to use whatever he has there to help land a receiver to help them going forward.
I think as we've been talking, Dave Canales, the Panthers head coach, he met with media members locally there. In a quote, I think he was asked about the Thielen conversation. He said, quote, "Until the conversations get real, there's nothing to talk about." So, I mean, the Panthers, you said this, and it's an astute point, in my opinion. Like, the Panthers have a very young receiving core outside of Adam Thielen. It's Tet McMillan, who they drafted in the first round. It's Xavier Legette. It's guys like David Moore, a Jalen Coker. They signed Hunter Renfrow, who is, hasn't played in a couple seasons. So to part with a guy who was incredibly productive for them at the end of last year when Bryce Young really started to find his footing, I mean, you're going to want a considerable return for that to be the case.
Well, especially when they know that if the Vikings are calling them, the Vikings have a need. Like, so
leverage gone.
Yeah, if there's any intelligence in that front office, which I think there is, they will try and leverage that and get some more than whatever the Vikings want to pay. And they know that Thielen is actually kind of the perfect fit, because do you need him to play all 17 games and be super productive that way? No, you need him at the start of the season to come in without missing a beat and play well until Addison gets back, and then you can kind of reduce his role going forward. And so they know he fits the profile perfectly. And so it would make sense that they would drive a hard bargain. I did find it interesting, Alec, that with Kay Adams, how open O'Connell was about it. And it's like, that's not something that you usually hear a head coach talk about another player on another team that way.
I thought the same thing. And I remember sitting, this was 2023 owners meetings. We're at this beautiful Biltmore Hotel in Arizona, and Ben Gessing, the Star Tribune, and I were sitting with Kevin O'Connell, and he was just raving about Adam Thielen. They were obviously going to part with Thielen, but there is an immense respect and trust there from coach to player. So it's but it was interesting to see like the little smile.
Oh yeah,
and he's he's intentional,
of course,
with the media about every move he makes, every comment that he says is very, very calculated. Yeah. That's who he is.
Not an accident whatsoever. And if there was literally nothing to it, like he would have clammed up or done something differently. But like the signs are all there that at least there's real interest, that that they're exploring it, that maybe he's at the top of their list of people they'd like to go get if possible.
And the question for me would be, let's say Carolina, the bargain is too, like they're not willing to part with Adam Thielen. Then who becomes, the leader in the clubhouse for that type of possibility? And can they find someone who has enough knowledge of the system to be able to step in a 2.5 week span and play for what is a very complex offense?
That's the most complicated thing of this whole thing, is if you don't get someone who has an intimate knowledge of it, like asking them to step in and play the way that they want to play is going to be a challenge. Now, I mean, with a second receiver, you can probably kind of shape things a little bit to make it easier, but I think what makes this offense special is the variations and the ability and the quick reads and all of those things. And so that is hard to build, and just pure chemistry with McCarthy. How does he? Where do I like the ball? Like, how does he throw it? All of those things that can take weeks, and by that time Addison's back, and then then it's not as big of a deal. So is it Chris Olave? Is it somebody like, I don't know. Like,
I asked, that's an interesting name. I toss that out to some people across the league, and like, I don't think the Saints plan right now is to part with the Chris Olave. Again, just like with the Thielen, prices and compensation tend to dictate how willing or not, or lack thereof, you might be parting with guys. But no, I mean, like Terry McLaurin, he's obviously asking for a lot in Washington. I know Kevin O'Connell saw Terry at the Ohio State Pro Day before he even entered the NFL and loves Terry McLaurin. But is that price going to make any sense in the world for a third receiver, especially if you have to pay Jordan Addison come next offseason? So it is an interesting one. Besides the receiver depth, like, what else catches your eye or ear in terms of maybe where you'd like to see a potential ad, or where you're a little skeptical of just depth in general?
I mean, I just, you can't have enough corners. And
okay, Mike Zimmer.
Yeah, exactly, right. It's but with Okudah, he's been in and out. I just think that there's enough of a need there that even adding someone who can play just a little bit makes so much sense to me. I really like their depth everywhere else. Their linebackers I don't think are as necessary.
No.
And so cornerback, safety I like now, actually, with the way that Theo Jackson's looked, with just everything that they have there. But yeah, corner, if they could add another one of those, I would be all for it.
Does special teams matter to you?
Yeah, I mean, it does. But I don't get as wound up about the return thing anymore, just given the changes that they've made to it. It would be nice if they had someone of a threat back there, but it just seems like so much harder to generate anything there. I am interested in the punting situation because I've not been a Ryan Wright guy really for a while, and would they make the change there? That's at least somewhat interesting.
Yeah, no question. A couple other things I wanted to get to. The NFC North. You and I haven't talked about Bears, Packers, Lions. Like, what have you thought of what you've seen coming out of Bears camp? We've got Brett here with the Packers. Big Packers guy. Jordan Love's dealing with the thumb. And
left hand.
The Lions obviously have new coordinators. Like, how have you thought about the NFC North in general? Are you going to make Brett very happy?
It's a deep division. It's really good. I'm a little skeptical that Ben Johnson is going to be able to hit the ground running right away. I think that's going to take a little time with that offense with Chicago. And the Packers, I mean, when are they going to lose another offensive lineman to a season-ending injury? That happens every other week.
Yeah.
And they always start out with, oh my gosh, they're the favorites and they're an unstoppable machine, and then, then they peter out just a little bit. So I'm Detroit is the team. Like that's
you still feel that way.
Yeah, I know that they have new coordinators. I know that the offensive line with Ragnow.
You want to talk about losing offensive linemen? Look no further than Detroit. They lost a couple.
Yeah, I like their skill guys. I like Jahmyr Gibbs a lot. He's one of my favorite players, and I think their defense is going to be improved. So I think it's Detroit at the top, and then I think the Vikings and Packers are battling. And then I think I'm not ready. I'm not one on the Bears hype train right now. I don't think that.
I was going to ask just your read and feel about Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like I heard someone. I was listening to Bill Simmons coming in or something, but you hear all this stuff in Tennessee about Cam Ward and the immediate impact he's making and how he's turning heads and how he's got people behind him.
5:30 a.m. meeting,
all that, and maybe some of that is fake hustle, but it does seem to be working. I don't ever hear any of that about Caleb.
No.
Like you don't, and I think like he feels like a guy who has gotten by on natural talent for so long, and now he's in a place where everyone is talented, and I don't know that he is that naturally talented to like just skate by on that. And so when you don't hear about those kinds of stories, should be easy to find with the number one overall pick. Face of the franchise. Usually the people are falling over themselves to be like, this is great, and they're just not there for Caleb. So I have real worries about that.
If you've seen the viral video of him missing that net like 3 times in a row, then he's got no chance.
Yeah, speaking of taking all that we can out of camp. Yeah,
that means everything.
Oh, everything. He did play well down the stretch last year.
I did kind of wonder, they extended Tyson Bagent, their backup, this week, and I kind of wondered if that's like a, light the fire a little bit, like we're invested. He's I don't know. I mean, it just, the thing with Caleb that I would be most concerned about, and this is me watching it, but also talking to people, is like the processing speed.
Right.
Can he see the field? It's a perfect segue with the greatest processor to ever do it, Max Brosmer.
Yeah.
I don't. What have you thought of?
So, like, getting back to what I look for, and I mean, this is not new stuff, but like to me, the thing that's really impressive is the anticipatory throws.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get like wowed if somebody is throwing a deep ball and one-on-one and hit someone that way, but like it's receivers coming out of cuts and the ball is already there, and it's going over one linebacker and landing in between the safeties. And so when someone can make those throws, that tells me at least that he sees everything clearly, as PA loves to say, and that he is
nevertheless
that he understands where a ball is supposed to go and he can put it there. And so I like that a lot. Yeah, I'm super high on what we've seen from him, and I do think it's a thing where I don't think you could get him through to the practice squad with what he's done.
I've gotten texts from people across the league of like, what do you think?
Yeah.
Are they gonna? So I'd be stunned if they did that, just with how much faith the staff I know has in him. One Wolves question, and then we'll end it with a couple fair things. But I've seen a lot of the Wolves players working out this summer here locally.
Yep.
Is that has it always been that way? And why do you think that's important? How has that happened where all of these guys seem to be here working out together at a pro level, living in Minnesota when it's not something they have to do?
Right. Yeah. So like for a while now, usually it's been Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, like those guys have been in regularly. But this year, I talked to Ant in Vegas, and he said, like, I told the guys after the season that we all got to be in Minnesota. And he said it a little more colorfully than that, and I will not I will not use those words on KFAN right now, but like he's like, I told all you guys, you be in Minnesota working out as much as possible, and he has been here doing it a lot. And so he is really setting a tone that way, and then you get all of the guys, pretty much everyone has been in, and that is a little bit unique. And I do think it's important because teams that usually take a leap are the ones that get punched in the mouth in the playoffs, and then they don't like it. And you can tell, like, this is a team that didn't like what has happened the last 2 years in the conference finals. And so this is a sign of a group that says, okay, we want to get together, we want to iron out whatever chemistry issues we had or figure things out, and be ready when the season starts. And so to see them do that. And I think it's promising. Does it mean they're going to be great? No, but it's certainly better than the alternative.
You and I mean, I'm fascinated by like certain decision makers in sports. I, did the Kwesi thing, just so curious about how these people make decisions and what kind of drives them. You've now been around Tim Connolly, for multiple years. Like, how do you describe him as a leader, as a decision maker, as a visionary of what the roster is going to look like?
Yeah, he's very he's very disarming. He's like Columbo, okay? Like, this is a dated reference, but it'd be like, he's stumbling through the investigation and then he says, just one more thing, and then he busts the guy and everything goes. But like, Tim is always like, he'll come to me like, hey Tim, like, how's it? I don't know, we just get lucky, man. I grab Jokic in the second round, he just get lucky, but behind all of that is like an incredible work ethic, and really what he is like an information guy. So he has people all over the country and all over the world that trust him and give and connect with him and give him real intelligence on players and prospects, and he's like really well liked. So people open up to him a little bit more with teams, agents, scouts, and for Berenger, for example, like he has people on the team that he played in Europe, and they said, hey, we got a guy here that we're excited about that you need to get your eyes on. And they initially thought he was only going to kind of play on a lower level team, and so there was not going to be much to it, but then he was just coming up, and so Tim and Matt Lloyd went over and saw him face to face, and then started really building kind of a rapport with him and the team and keeping an eye on him the whole way through. And so I do think that when it was time to draft him, like, they just had more of a feel for him than others. And that's the kind of thing, like, if I call and ask him about, hey, what's happening in New York? Hey, what's happening here? Like, he has people everywhere that he knows about. And so, like, he really does a good job of just building relationships, building trust, and then using that information to kind of help him make decisions.
So you already got your pickle dog. Do you do more, or are you just going to leave?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to just take a lap and just see if anything like talks to me a little bit. But like, I got to save most of it for when the kids are here.
Sure.
Because that's the load up time. And at 46, the metabolism doesn't work as much anymore. So I gotta be careful with how I consume. But yeah, I might grab something on the way out the door here, and I got a mile walk. I mean, what am I going to do otherwise?
You're not just going to not stop somewhere.
Yeah, I need that sustenance to get me through it. So I'll keep an eye out. But
you're going to be able to burn that off real quick.
Yeah.
Are you going to watch the third preseason game?
I mean, I'll watch Rosemer a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll watch Rosemer a little bit. Why not? Yeah. We'll check it out. But the question is, like, what do you have date night planned around here? Like
me?
Yeah, you.
I don't know. I don't know.
Like, I mean, this is one of the romantic places you can ever be. I can tell you.
Yeah, that's how it's always described.
Yeah, just be careful out there. All right.
No, after the show ends,
used by it and like swept up in it. And next thing you know, you're on one knee and like.
Yeah. No, that's
just
good.
Be careful.
No, I'm glad you brought that up.
I'm
that's
just saying,
awesome.
I'm mentoring you. Just be careful.
Thank you. You're always mentoring me. I mean, look, it's appreciated. We sit for people who don't know. Before I let you go, walk around and get something else you shouldn't eat. We sit in the Vikings press box and these games in, and I look at you and I'm depleted, and you're like, we're writing this. That's how it goes. It's exceptional.
I've seen it all by now. So it's 25 years now. It's just like nothing surprised me, but like it comes. You're very excited. I got to settle you down a little bit.
Thank you.
Set you in the right path, and then it all works out.
I'm glad you didn't come to the second preseason game when Max Brosmer completed the 4th and 17. Just ask Kevin C for what my reaction was to that, and you'll get a.
If it lasts more than 4 hours, seek a doctor's help. Right?
Absolutely. All right. That's Jon Krawczynski. We'll take a round of applause for Jon Krawczynski. Yep. He's the absolute best. He covers the Timberwolves and everything else. Minnesota for us at The Athletic, has been a incredible mentor to me. So thank you, John. Appreciate you
Good stuff.
Hopping out here. And yeah, that'll do it. We'll head into the 11 o'clock hour with Muss, who loves trolling me when I can't find the press box in whatever town we're in. But we're going to talk Vikings and his fair exploits when we come back from the break. I'm Alec Lewis, in for Paul Allen on 9 to noon. You're listening to KFAN.